Now, to the second example of terrible government, fresh information about the disastrous blackout in Victoria, Victoria's worst ever blackout. It's looking more and more like a man-made disaster, and one that tells us Labor's green energy schemes are in fact a menace to all Australians. 80,000 homes and businesses are still without electricity. That's more than 2 days after 500,000 were blacked out. And the cost of this disaster is enormous. But I hear the state government say, oh, this is just what you get with this extreme weather. And global warming campaigners say, look, it was actually a coal-fired generator, Loy Yang, that went down when high winds knocked down some transmission lines in Victoria's west, causing the generators to trip because the system was so unstable. So coal is the problem, not wind power. But two things have become clear today. First, look at this graphic of electricity supplies in Victoria on Tuesday when a storm did hit. And you'll see around 1 p.m. the coal-fired power nosedived. Coal is brown on this graphic down the bottom. It dived when those transmission lines came down, forcing the shutdown. And that's when gas-fired plants, that's the darker blue just above it, had to be fired up. You can see them coming in, and hydropower as well brought in. But look at the wind power supplies. They're in green at the top. They also crashed. And that's because lines were brought down and because too much wind really is too much for wind generators. And solar in yellow made close to no difference at all. So you see, this shows you how pathetic wind and solar power is, despite the billions we've spent on subsidising this stuff. It's just too unreliable. But there's something else about these towers that were blown down in Western Victoria. 3 years ago, 6 transmission towers in that very area were also blown down by stronger winds. Energy Safe Victoria investigated, and goodness me, those towers weren't built to the right standards. They'd been designed to older standards that it said did not consider convective downdraft wind gusts. So they were replaced by 6 new towers built to new modern standards, higher standards. But the government left the rest of the towers in that area as is. No doubt gambling they wouldn't be blown over too. But now some have, at a cost of who knows how many hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, if you think, no government would be that crazy, you are talking about a government with renewable energy targets so crazy indeed that a paper on the Department of Energy, Environment and Climate Action's website says it could require up to 70% of Victoria's agricultural land to host the wind and solar farms necessary, unless it said the government built wind farms out at sea instead. Funnily enough, that paper's now been deleted from the website. Too embarrassing. So no, this blackout is not the result of global warming. It's the result of governments making the wrong calls and spending billions on things like wind farms rather than things that would keep on the lights. And that is a warning to all Australia.